Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Well, don't worry, guys. I'm here. Just boards froze up on me. Just give me a sec so I can play the disclaimer and get rolling here.
CMR Critical Mass Radio in association with We All Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest. Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it's our turn.
And thank you very much. Alright, as soon as the board loads here, I'll be just peachy. Well, I can say whatever I want now. Anyway, disclaimer or not, I would anyway. Yeah, it's kind of the nature of the game I play. I got up this morning, tinkled, and I didn't call anybody. Didn't need to. Nature already called me, so I thought, well, time to recycle that. Oh, there we go.
CMR
sorry, I was looking for the other one, guys.
In association with We All Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest.
Okay. That's not the one.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Alright, just to keep it interesting, unpredictable. That's the thing about egos. Oh my god, talk about predictable. Anyway, if you're ever looking for an ego, just look for the reaction. That's the reflection in the mirror coming back to haunt your sorry ass ego. That's so funny. Yeah, it's amazing how people can sit at the table, you know, and throw all sorts of garbage and food around, spit on the potatoes and the rest of it, leave the table. They won't bother to leave the house. Funny that. Anyway, leave that one where it is. Alright, just scoping around here a little bit. And yeah, I had to defrag the computer again. So I was real sluggish today. I had a nightmare day trying to keep this little juicer going. And well, she's all a lot better now, so yeah. Yeah, I thought you might like that. Listen, if you can't handle a meal at the table and you want to be rude about it, do the honorable thing. Leave the fucking house. Right? Don't forget to close that freshly installed door behind you. They'll tell you when you leave my house, you leave. That's it. So, sorry, I don't mean to, you know, call it out as it is, but I will. It's just fed up with dealing with people that are getting walked. I had a great chat with Michael today. Here's a little allegory analogy for you, if you want to get an idea of what the ego is. I'll give you a little picture. We talked about this and laughed quite a bit. If you can get the visual of a TV set with, you know, with legs and arms, and it's got a leash, and your body's wearing the collar. You're down on all fours, and it's taking you for a walk. And on the screen of the TV, it's programming everything for you. That's what the ego is. And that's I've said it before. It's like screaming at a TV, you know, during an episode of some whatever show, as if it's gonna change. It's like people that, man, it's funny to watch. You know, sports events and whatever, and just how emotional people get. Oh, just missed the net. Oh, tackled. Oh, you know, it's like, think about it. Seriously, sit back and think about it. Are you not entertained, says Gladiator. Yeah, right before I throw the fucking swords at you. Oh, yeah. Anyway, just kind of putting it out there for you guys. So, the program, the TV program that is running your life that you think it's you, that's a pretty good picture of you. It's just kind of stuck on one or two channels. Or some people, a few more channels. Depends how many emotions they like to run through and get their point across. I think we've had a few questions regarding spotting egos. Well, it's very easy. The ego has to justify. It has to defend. Of course, it must attack. That goes without saying. Yeah, and as soon as it attacks and makes an ass of itself, because it always does, as soon as it gets called out, then it goes into, victim mode. Basically, it's a savior program. It's really easy to spot, if you get offended. That's your ego. There's very, very few times I will actually allow my three-headed dog to come out of its cage, and typically when I'm dealing with a program that I've just had enough of, I'll say, fine, come on, fucking fresh meat, go. And it feeds, and it feeds well. Typically, to the degree that it'll scare people off. It's a nasty bastard, really. You should try living with it. Just try training it too. Yeah, it's not only is the TLB the tricky little bastard, it's also the tough little bastard. Because one of the things that people seem to forget, put it in real terms for you, the ego only exists in the DNA of the meat stick you're in. It is only interested in gratification. It is only interested in taking care of itself. It's only interested in making sure that its survival is as much fun as it can be, because it knows its time is limited. Possibly that same ego gets recirculated through DNA, through whatever means or whatever, I don't care. But the ego, it's like our typical throwaway society. It's at the end of a body. As soon as you drop the American Tourister or Samsonite, whatever luggage you're carrying, meat sticks, and you drop that, the ego goes with it. That's when you get finally peeled clean of the program, and that's where you'll get a chance to fully see it. And those beings that have stepped to the other side know exactly what it is I'm speaking of. It's a different reality, because the ego isn't real. It's a program. Can you imagine being on the TV screen and someone has the joystick in their hand and they're putting you through a game, and they don't really care about you. And they put you up against all manner of garbage and what have you. And that's effectively what egos do. It's about becoming cause instead of being an effect, right? It's about taking your own helm or your own joystick back. And the minute you feel like you have to strike out at somebody, in any way whatsoever, that's just ego. How can I get offended? It's like, I watch a TV show. I love these people that watch TV shows and they get offended by them. Like, fucking turn it off, dipshit. That's ego, though. Ego needs something to bitch about. Ego needs something to destroy and whine and cry and jump up and down about. How do I know these things? Because I lived them. You can't observe something until you've actually experienced it and been aware enough to know that you were actually experiencing it. Going, see, I'm maybe it's just Jiminy in nature. I have no idea, but I found myself many years ago. As I said to Michael, there's two modes I was generally in: extremely happy and woohoo, let's go. And the other, when I wasn't in that mode, I was typically in anger. I know where it was seated, so it's okay. I think you guys might have an idea. If you were stuck in prison for 49 years, you might be a little fucking pissed too. But I'm not anymore. I know what it is, and it's a gift of gifts, and it's all good. It's all good. Where was I going there? Oh yeah, about experiencing it. I have been in heated debates with individuals, and the mouth is still going, and then there's me in the background going, okay, you've said your piece, time to shut up. No, that wasn't enough. Tricky little bastard's still going here, though. It has to run the program out. It really has to lash out. And there's me still in the background. Seriously, I hear myself, all right, Kate, that's it. You said your piece. Shut up now. That's it. Enough. And then blah, 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 a little bit more. And okay. You need a bigger shovel, Kate. You're digging a nice hole there. Oh, of course. And there goes the ego. Some more, and then, before you know it, I'm standing in a hole that someone is going to fill with shit for me. So it's great. No, I've been there. I've seen myself do it. That's how I can observe it in others. It's a standard program. It's a savior program. It constantly wants to put people on pedestals so they can knock them down. It's constantly coattailing others to, create something that particular ego just doesn't have the ability to do. And that's the other part about the ego too. The ego really inhibits your artistic and creative abilities to a degree that you cannot imagine. And again, it's only interested in survival. It's only interested in, where's the next drive-through we can hit? Where's the next movie, and all the rest of it. It's just wants to be entertained. It just wants to, 7 deadly sins land. That's where it lives. The virtues, the 7 blessed virtues, that's what you are. So there's your duality contained within. And to whatever degree we decide to change the vices to virtues is where you'll start to see where your ego is. Oh, and don't kid yourself. I know when my little 3-headed bastard comes out. I know when it comes out. Because I'm calling it. Well, you want to slay a dragon, you might want to be one. If you want to slay an ego, well, here, boy. That's it. Fresh meat. I'll let it go. Of course, when it's done devouring what it's going to devour, because only ego understands ego. He doesn't understand fucking rationale. No. That's if ego understood rationale, you wouldn't have guys walking around in uniforms. Sorry, it's amazing what you can do to a word by throwing a letter that means it's all mine into it. The letter N, by the way, is possessive. So you can take uniform and turn it into uninformed. It works, doesn't it? Fuck, I laughed when I thought of that one. Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been a good in a roundabout way. I had a few other things that I watched Cloud Atlas again last night. I will watch it again tonight because there's a particular allegory that's really deep in there. I'm not going to give it away. Because I want to pinpoint a few other things within it, and I know that when I show you this, it will be extremely mind-expanding, because it certainly has done a couple of tricks for me today, and I still haven't figured it out yet. But it's because I have to go through it and make notes just to see where everything correlates, where the single thread is that's right through it. See, that's what I do, is I look for things that have a common thread. It has to start and end, but it has to be complete. So if it's a 2-hour movie, from the first second to the last second of that movie, I'm looking for that one thread that goes all the way through it, that every character has in common, that the storyline has in common. It is complete synopsis. It's a fractal of the whole. And that's how I do my research. I look for the common thread. I look for the one thing. That's why, for the name game, I was looking for the one common thread that everyone on the planet had in common. There were quite a few things. Let's start with, the legal stuff. It was all about the name, I had to think, okay, what does, and I'm talking in the fiction sense here, so bear with me, guys. Legally, what does everyone have in common? Well, they had to have it in common. It had to be something they took from cradle to grave. And it had to be something that their egos would defend to the death for. It wasn't culture, and it wasn't race and religion. No, those were all divisions of that one thing. And then it struck me about 3 years ago. So the only thing we all have in common that we'll fight to the death for, and we take from cradle to grave, is our name. Of course, it's right on the gravestone. Couldn't have any more obvious than that. From the BC to the tombstone. Okay, so there's your allegory of that. And then there's other things that we all have in common as well, which, you know, as things got a lot deeper and more rabbit holes, you know, brought into view and finally coming out the other side of it, my game has always been a very, very spiritual game. You know, I've searched my whole life. Oh, there we go. Kids are out. Anyway, searched for my whole life and looked at many different things. Because not any single religion or, you know, study or whatever group, what I did notice is, and what resonated with me with all of them was they had, you know, one or two pieces of it. They didn't have a complete picture. So it's, you know, by a long time ago I left it all behind. You know, I'd already been in there and, you know, played in their churches and whatnot. And I thought, no. You know, if you want a good backstabbing, all you got to do is go to church. Yeah, turn around and ask for help, and wait to see how fast they run. No, I'm here to save my soul, cocksucker. Fuck you. Oh, and they do. Yeah, there's nothing more arrogant than someone that thinks they're saved. I'm saved, so I've got it all figured out. Jesus died for me, and I'm saved. Whatever religion, I don't care. I just pick on that one because that's the one I know the best. You know, and I got thinking about it a lot, and no, that just didn't work for me. No, didn't think so. But yeah, let's get back to shredding egos here. Yeah, the ego is it's a tricky little bastard. It's your own or someone else that doesn't like you, or something that you may have reflected at them, because that's all we are, reflections of each other. And what's the best way to describe this? Most people are too wrapped up in how the message is being delivered versus what's actually in the message. Have you ever noticed that? You know, it's like the word asshole. And I use this as an example because, you know, someone, I've been called that many times, quite proud of it actually. One instance not long ago, that an individual is no longer in my universe, blocked on all fronts, thank you very much, wrote that to me. Long story, I should share the email sometimes that freak you right out, but anyway, it scared the shit out of me, but anyway, I wrote asshole, and then they tried to come back and tell me, well, wasn't meant the way. Sorry. You can pull that shit on someone that's asleep and isn't an empath, and doesn't know writing, and doesn't understand sigils, and doesn't feel the intent off the letters. But don't try that one with me. Sorry. Because I took it in context with what followed it, and I didn't see the joke. So there's the example. You know, you can walk up to a friend and go, "Hey, asshole, how's it going?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, hey, good, awesome, thanks, man. How are you?" And they'll call you something too, right? Or you can walk in somewhere and then look at someone and go, "Asshole." What do you think the difference is going to be? It's the same message. It's the same body orifice. It's the intent behind it, right? And people get caught up in that. So I'm going to flip the mirror on it. This is the whole thing about, you know, don't shoot the messenger just because the message pissed you off. Just because the message made you self-responsible. Just because the message says no more of your bullshit. Just because the message says, and this is where you're talking to yourself, yeah, I'm being an asshole, but I won't admit it. You know, the message is what it is. And I guarantee you, the message that you get, if you're listening, will be the same as somebody else, if you're listening without the emotions. Or if you're listening with emotions, if there's 1,000 people, 10,000 people listening, there'll be 10,000 different interpretations of it. I'm trying to narrow it down into, you know, a singular sort of thing. So pay no heed to anything that you might perceive as emotion. I've been on stage a very long time. Very long time. And one of the things I have learned to do is mimic. You see, because I can stand on a stage and be absolutely friggin' terrified, which I am. Shaking in my booties. Nervous as all get out, ready to hurl every time. But I bet you'll never see it. No, all you're going to see is a smile and a let's get the show on the road. Because I know how to do that. I know how to take my emotions and put them back in the cage. Take that three-headed dog and rope it up and say, hey, that's it, Fido. I'll be back for you later. You know, it's about learning the fear. It's like the Judge Bow's video. Yeah, my heart was in my throat. You'd never know it, though. Because I know for one thing, from all the years that I had conditioned that aspect of fear, I knew what it was, recognized it, but I wouldn't let it control me. I would say, okay, that's fear. That's natural. That's when I'm in a situation which could be deemed as survival, be it of integrity or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. But I know what it is, so I can take that and go, all right, you, in your cage. I can see you. It's all good. I know you're there. I got this one. And then you go. And for me, it's just simply a download after download in that regard. So, and until you can put the emotions away, your ego owns you. That's it. If you get offended, it ain't you, that's your ego. Because somehow being offended has impinged on the survival. And there's your up-down of the pedestal, lesser than, master-slave program. And I've had many people in my life try to build me up on the pedestals only to turn around and knock me off. That's why I have such an abhorrence for them. Because I know exactly what they are. It's all program. You see, because a lot of beings that have lost a lot of their creative ability, be it for whatever reason, we're all infinite creators, so don't bitch at me if you can't create. You can, because that's what you are. Sorry, ego got in the way of that one. You want to talk to your ego and sort that out. But the truth is, you are an uber creator. You are someone that can outcreate yourself, right? But when people when the ego has so much control of somebody where they can't seemingly, they look at somebody and go, ooh and ah. Of course, I look at everyone that has their own little thing going on. I'm thinking, excellent, this is my shit, that's yours, cool. Whereas some people look at it, you can do that, and you can do that, and I can't do either, and then of course they'll either, pedestal, flow all sorts of ooh, ah, wondrous things at you. And then, of course, everyone loves to hate a winner after a while. It doesn't take long. Or they try to undermine you, pick away at you, in an attempt to try to gain some of that, misperceived power. Sorry, you got the same power. You're only picking on yourself, dopey. Knock yourself out. You put me on a pedestal, I'll knock you off yours. That's how it works. No, I stand on a level ground, table's level, everything's good, no swords, no scabbards, nothing needed, just lots and lots of food. And if you want to throw food around at the table, that's fine. But when you spin potatoes and shit like that, leave the table. And while you're at it, leave the house. Because you're still missing the point. Or ego will dictate, I'm going to hang around the house and be a sneaky little fuck and see what I can poke at and do and, wait for my moment to pounce. And that's what ego does. Fuck, man, this is so old. It's so predictable. It's such a stupid little program. And there it is. The tricky little bastard thinks it's clever. Oh, I'm going to be smarter than... Yeah, that's your problem. You're using your anal ISIS. You're thinking with your asshole. You're analyzing. Analyzing, you're staring at a butthole. Okay? keep going. Analyze everything. It's never figured out until you feel it. You never figured out until you look in your own mirror. And I am one cold, hard, calculating bitch when I look in my mirror. I better have made a difference. That's the joy of every night before I get to my little sleepy spot on the floor. I look in the mirror and I say, I don't even ask the question anymore. I just look, yeah, okay, we're good. I can go and just try to get some sleep, whatever the case may be. So, excuse me. Yeah, rather interesting little chat today with Michael. Thank you so much. Thank you also out to Janet. Got your Skype credit yesterday, day before. I've just been trying to catch up with everything. Thank you so much. It means I have an ability to make phone calls even, and of course, thank you to MJ as well for sending along the same. So it's greatly appreciated. That means if I need to and I have internet, and my phone's down, I've got a means to call landlines, which is a good thing. Thank you. It's one more little peace of mind that it's been a long time coming. I can't remember the last time I had a Skype credit. Holy. I don't even think I've ever had one on this account. I know with my old account I did, but that one I didn't use. And after not using it for, I forget how long it was, it cancels it out. So whatever credit was there, Skype gobbled it. That's just because Mr. Gates needs more money. Yeah, okay. Way to go, Billy. Yeah, Billy shut the gates. Anyway, where was I going? I was talking a little bit about the whole time concept. I will touch on that as well today. Again, I'm trying to keep things in the now and keep things where, it needs repeating to get people to grasp the concept. Whether it's right or not, it just, it hits and it feels right, it thinks right, and I talk to people and they go, yeah, okay, I get it, yeah, so I'm okay, fine, it's resonating. That's the only way I can check anything is in the mirror of me, and that's you, right? Oh, and vice versa. The only way you can check anything is in the mirror, that's me. Maybe check out what's coming at you. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Yeah, give me a chainsaw, egos fall. That's how it works. Ego's another thing that's easy to balance out. It's very handy to have it. That's your analytical program. It's just the whole analyzing thing took over you. That's the savior. You looked at it as crutching, and it's. But it's very easy to get control of. It's a handy tool when you're walking around in a meat stick. Yeah, it keeps things logical. It's not chaotic like creation can be. There's only one place that you can go that is void of ego, and it's the only place where there is true motion. Everything else is sitting still. By the way, it looks like it's moving. No. Emotion means no motion, means stopped, still. And there's only one motion in the universe. So I'm going to put forth the motion. And the motion is love. Do I get that seconded to carry that motion? Yeah, love's the only motion there is. That's your creative divine feminine. It's just create, and of course there's the masculine, divine masculine out there trying to grab all these beautiful creations and make sense of them, puts them in some sort of order. And then of course, because the left brain, masculine intent is the ego ruler. And of course, sure, at some point the ego goes, well, geez, that bitch just keeps making shit, and I'm getting, if it wasn't for me, this stuff wouldn't be organized. And if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have order. Hey, wait a minute. I'm way more important because it's order out of chaos. Yeah, right. Okay. I'll tell you what. Organize this. Nothing. Yeah? That's the thing about nothing. The void, divine feminine, the nothing. There's nothing needed to make order of. Talk about a big rug to get pulled out from under you. And don't get yourselves all in a tizzy and a knot, women saying, yeah, women are, and guys saying, yeah, whatever, duh. You're both. So you're going to get pissed off at, if you're male and get pissed off at a female, or female get pissed off at the man, you're just getting mad at yourself. That's your duality at war with itself. You're both. At the end of the day, when everybody's sitting in a room listening to a song, you all got your eyes closed, what gender are you? You were neutral because you weren't thinking about that. Right? Yeah, so if you want to get neutral, or you want to get rid of the ego, you got to get neutral. Oh, fine. And I've seen it more and more lately, and I think it's kind of neat. It's almost like these parts of me are, as soon as I just look at it and go, yeah, okay, I've been there, and they just peel away. It's like these last little remnants of shit that's stuck to my canvas is being presented for me to see if I'll bite. No, I won't bite. Got people, popping back into my universe, and no. I remember the last bit of cutlery you left for me. Thanks. No, not interested. It's okay. I got rid of that part. And remember the video game thing. When you are quote awake unquote, and I say that term very loosely because the minute somebody tells me they're awake, I know they're sleeping. I'm not awake. Still on Earth. Still in the game. If you're walking around in a meat stick, you're asleep. This is the dream, boys and girls. So don't tell me you're awake. You're not. You can tell me you're, becoming more aware. But don't tell me you're aware, because if you were, then you wouldn't be here in the meat stick, would you? Like me. We are becoming that. This is the journey. When someone makes a claim absolute, then they're saying that I put limits on my universe. Yeah? In an infinite universe, infinite potential, where everything, not just anything can, that's not big enough. It's where everything is possible. Right? These are important things to me. These are the little gems that I sit and ponder, trying to make sense of it all. And of course we're here and we're having a game, and for whatever reason, some of us are in different roles to play, and to bring this game into a little bit more fun. And so I'll tell you, it hasn't been much fun. It's had its moments, but in the grand scheme of things, if for example, if I do a 3-hour show out of 24 hours, I might have another hour's worth of fun there, but I'll tell you, a lot of work goes into it, a lot of stress and everything else. So out of the 24 hours, I had 4 hours of what would be perceived as fun. Well, 3 anyway when you're playing, right? Hauling ass with gear and stuff, that sucks. But anyway, what about the rest of the day? And that's effectively what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people that walk through their lives, pumping in a quarter of their week into work just to not enjoy the homes that they're in because they're too busy working too many hours. Typically, 40 hours, if you've got in terms of the Whore of Babylon world, if you've got a good hourly or good salary, and you only have to put in 40 hours, well, that's one thing. But a lot of people out there that are 2 and 3 and 4 jobs, just to keep, 1, a roof over their head, and 2, themselves and their kids fed. That doesn't leave a whole lot of time. There's only 168 hours in a week, so you take 40 off that, you're left with 128. And of course, if you sleep 8 hours a night, there's another 40. So there's half your week gone in work and sleep. Seriously. Gone. Half of it's gone before you even wake up. Isn't that funny? And of course, at the end of the week, what does the whore do? The whore says, well, 95% of that check you just got is gone in taxes anyway. Whether it's right on the top of the check, which is funny. I used to laugh and see people say, I paid X number of dollars in taxes last year. They're employees. And I said, really? What do you mean? Well, look, here's $8,000 in taxes I paid. I said, you didn't pay it. Well, what do you mean? Did you write the check for that? Well, no. Then you didn't pay it. It's just money you didn't get. Somebody else paid it. Right? Somebody stole it and gave it to somebody else for you. But you didn't actually physically write the check. Because I'll tell you, that's the big trick. If you were writing the check every week to the government for the X, you'd have been pissed off a whole lot sooner than you are now. That's the thing. They do it so clever. You can't feel like you've lost something if you never got it in the first place. Somebody else is doing the stealing for you. It's another corporate trap. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'll tell you, I've been an employer most of my life. I was the one writing the checks. I used to tell guys, shut up. That's why the last number of years I was in business, well, the last 6-7 years anyway, I never collected any tax. I never paid any tax, and neither did any of the guys working for me. They got paid straight out. And I did everything through the bank. I didn't give a shit. I shut down CRA many years ago. They didn't bother with me anymore. They kept, on occasion, they'd send a little teaser bit of junk mail. I'd just throw it in the garbage. It's not me. You know that. I told you that. No, they'll still try to get their pound of flesh nearest the heart, those bastards. But that's because you're dealing with sleepy egos, right? You're dealing with half of our planet that are doing it are asleep. You got one half of the planet laughing at the other half. So we're laughing at each other here, right? But it's about putting things into real perspective. So if something irritates you, or if you think one thing or the other, and tell you, there's one thing you don't do with me. Don't tell me how I feel. Because I guarantee you do that, I'm going to tell you how my three-headed dog feels. I know who I am. I know where I am. I know what I am. I know when I am. And I know why I am. Don't try to tell me about me based on a skewed perspective or an assumption of what you think. Because I'll tell you right now, what most people think are egos. Don't listen to the TV talk. As a matter of fact, I take a sledgehammer to it. Then I very carefully remove the collar from around your neck, and I take the leash off, and then I say, okay, now stand now. Get on your knees crawling for too long. Just stand, and the program's out of the way. Of course, there's the busted up TV, stick being lying mashed in the corner in pieces, right? You'll think twice before it comes back. Yeah, it's not a difficult thing to spot. It's always predictable. It always justifies what it needs to do, right? Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's not. So I'm gonna actually play a tune right now. Oh, actually, Santa was tagging me. Where are you here? Get my mouse working. That was a good thing. Oh, there we go. He's feeling better. Good, excellent. So excellent. Santa will be joining us on Friday. He's feeling a lot better. Excellent. That's good to hear. Okay, let me see. Yes. Yep, the Love and Stuff room. Where are we? Interesting. All right, let me see. Good stuff. Yes, I'm very happy that Santo is going to be on the show. I've been looking forward to this. So I have got a first time airing of a song you've already heard, but you haven't heard it like this. So dear friend Brian got busy He's a studio type, right? Musician. Got busy, and I know he put a lot of hours into this, because I know what it's like to sit behind a board and tinker. It's a good thing I work to a click track, eh, Bri? Makes things a little easier to track. That's why I always work with a track. But anyway, it did some epic stuff on Like an Angel, and yes, Brian, you heard the exact drum beat that was going off in my noggin. Well done, thank you. I like it when people feel it. It's anyway. So the song is none other than Like an Angel. Check out this version of it.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
From somewhere like a dream, your world washed over me and took me far away, so very far away. Made sense of all things wrong, gave hope where all was gone. What do I need to say, really need to say? Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. Somehow you pulled me through, turned faith back into truth completely, so completely. Held strong when others ran, gave my heart a place to stand, and you saved me, more than saved me. Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me.
Yeah, how do you like them apples? Good work, Brian. Oh, yeah. See what I mean? It's one of the pleasures of life, and watching someone else's creativity join in. And it makes the sum of the parts greater than the whole. That's creation. That's what creation does. That's what creation is. You know? So very well done, Brian. Much gratitude. So I know the amount of time that went into doing that. I especially love the tail off echoing of the snare. It sounds like a horse riding off. It's beautiful. And yeah, not sure if I could actually get you the actual Pro Tools files for that. I think it was maybe 3 tracks total. Might be 3 because I did 2 acoustics on that, 1 capoed, 1 not capoed, and a vocal, straight up vocal. So that's about as bare bones as songs get. Well, bare bones is just a straight take with vocal, guitar, or whatever instrument, and vocal. And then you just kind of build it from there. But yeah, you heard the drum beat. Dude, I love it. It's one of my favorite beats. It's very intense. It's like a heartbeat, you know. It's just intense. Yeah. So anyway, excuse me. Sorry, just going down the chat. Yes, absolutely. So listen, I do want to touch on the time. Well, your ability to see time properly, but I'd love to get you guys jumping in here as well. So when I was talking to Michael today, and Michael, if you want to jump in here, just let me know. I'll pull you in because I always have great chats. MJ, anybody, just let me know. But I touched on this last night, and I'm going to touch on it again. I'm hopefully going to get better and better at trying to explain very deep concepts in a very simple way that can be grasped. Okay, here it is. You heard me talking last little while about, I have eyes to see and ears to hear. Universe, yourself, right? Show me what it is I need to see and hear right now. And the intention is there because for me it's about confirming things that I've already been working on. So I'm looking for verifications. I'm looking for things that resonate with that concept. That's what I'm always looking for. I'm looking for the yay or nay, right? It's always a yay though. It's kind of, that's the thing. Once you have the intention there and you've put it in, it's already creating towards that intent anyway, right? So you will always get confirmations, and some are really blatant, and some are a little bit not as blatant. Now they're just getting downright annoyingly blatant. We're traveling the same road and know the signs and everything else, and deliberately not, as soon as I think of something, I look and oh shit, there. Okay, yeah, got it. All right. So here's an example of it. So let's say you've just asked yourself that question. Now what you've done is you've opened yourself up to see and hear what the universe is going to show you that was already in place. It had to be before you asked. Otherwise it wouldn't materialize. Get it? So here's an example of what I used with Michael today. With the name game thing. I would be looking for something that would really confirm that. So it would have be something, let's say it's something very, very, and they have been like this, very blatant, very obvious. So let's say I have this concept that I want confirmation on. Am I right about this name thing? Am I on the right track? That's all I'm really asking. Am I on the right track? I don't need the answers. I just need to know if I'm on track, because the answers are coming anyway, right? That's where I find them, within. So I'll put it out to the universe. I have eyes to see and ears to hear. Universe, show me what it is I need to see now. And then, of course, I'll be driving along, and I'll look over my left shoulder, and there's a big transport truck going by with, on the side of it, it says, no name. That's just passing it. That kind of shit. And that's real for me. That happens all the time. Universe tells me exactly, and it'll tell me too without even asking. Because I'll look at something, it'll resonate. You know, it might be someone that's within my, say, a new individual in my vicinity or whatever, and I will get messages to let me know whether to keep an eye on them or if they're okay. And I've had many of those, and they show up exactly when I'm not asking for them. It's like these warning signs along the way. So for me to say like the allegory of this truck going by that says no name, here's the trick to the time though, because I didn't see it in my rear view mirror, it was out of view. It had to be there before I asked that question. That thread already had to be in place in order for that coincidence to occur. So the truck was already behind me, although I could not see what it was, and I didn't have an inkling of what I was going to see. When I was going to see it, I knew it was going to be after I asked the question. I could have asked that question anywhere, you know? So what I've done, and what this is for looking at 0 point, no time. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun night tonight. All right. The fact is that already had to be in place in the universe, ready for you to see it in the now. See, it's still hard for me to try to explain this. It really, really is. There is no time involved. It was already there when you asked. There are no coincidences. Everything for a reason. Everything is already there, being directed for you. We are dealing in a masterful, beautiful game, if we can see it. And we can be at one of two things. We can be at cause over it or at effect from it. And what we're dealing with on this planet, mostly, by a long stretch mostly, are people at effect. They're at effect to their surroundings, they're at effect to, you know, their lives, their cultures, their, you know, geographics, whatever the case may be, wherever their meat stick is, right? And then, of course, if that's not enough, now you have to bring in all the other forces that come against this, you know, religious beliefs, you know, gender concepts, you name it, the list, politics, sports, whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, these are all things that come in to distract and poison you from who you really are, to keep you in the bread and circuses of their idea of Rome. And for the most part, people are quite content to be a part of that. So I'll touch on that again as soon as it clears out a bit more. In the meantime, what do we got? Oh, okay, here we go. Open up the line here. Hello, Tracy, how are you?
Is this Tracy 303?
That's Tracy 303.
Hi, Kate.
How are you? Long time no hear.
I'm good. I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell you that I'm still here with you. I have been listening, and I'm still here.
I didn't think you wouldn't be, hon. You're way too smart.
Don't tell anybody. I got this blonde thing going on.
Oh, do you? Oh. Damn.
That's all.
I hate when that
Wait.
happens. Yeah, so what's on your mind? Seeing as you're still hanging out.
Oh,
what's
nothing.
Up?
No, I didn't want to speak because what you taught me in your language of, what do you call it, the human diagram? What do you call that?
Oh, Human Design America?
Yeah. I recently learned that I'm a projector, although I don't have a...
I was going to say you're a projector, aren't you?
Yeah, but I wasn't invited, so I understand where I missed or overstepped or was in error.
Well, there's no errors.
Yes, there was. There was total error.
No,
yeah.
There's
That's
no
all right,
thing.
though. I don't mind it.
Oh, no, there's no such thing as making mistakes. That's the illusion. Everything is perfect. We just have
I'm not fearful of making a mistake or upsetting anybody, but it would be better to be invited, which I wasn't. So that was my misstep. I would call it a misstep. That's
Okay.
all. Ain't no harm, no foul. It's all good
no.
and beautiful, and you're still beautiful, and...
All good, baby. Yeah, again, about the mistake thing, I just look at it as the alternative mirror experience in order to gain this mirror, right? So there are no mistakes because, for me, you see, thank you. I spent a lifetime trying to prove everything about me was wrong, and what it gave me was a perfect mirror.
But what if I could see you? And you've had experiences with me. Maybe I'm too forceful or too something. Can I ask, may I just have a request?
Sure.
Yes, I can, because I just asked that question and I'm going to answer.
See, I love when people catch themselves in that.
Yeah. I'm going to give you my email address, and I'm going to offer that to you. So that, as a projector, you don't ask me questions. So I'm just going to put out my email address and ask you to mute me out. Is that good?
Sure. Well, you're on Skype now?
No, I tried, but I'm still not.
Oh, you're missing all the fun.
I don't like spending. It doesn't matter.
It's free.
Yes, sir.
It is. It's free.
Oh, it's free. I don't care about free. I'm a hard worker. I make enough money. It's not about that. But email's free as well. Can I give you my email address, Kate?
Sure. Well, better yet, why don't I just give you mine? That way everybody gets it. And
yeah, but that's because as a projector, you'll never respond or ask me a question.
Are you kidding? I answer
Everybody
all
knows you, Kate. You're famous, honey.
Oh, no, I'm not.
If they don't know it, how about I give them your email address? See? Broadcasting.
KatieRenee@live.ca. I give it all the time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I answer my email.
But that wasn't the question, was it? Anyway, can you mute me out? I just want to let you know that I'm here and I feel you.
Oh, good, baby.
I'm right here. But mute me out.
Okay, Con.
All right, bye, babe.
Take care. Talk to you in a bit. Awesome. Yeah. KatieRenee@live.ca. KatieRenee@live.ca. That's my personal email. My Facebook is kate.renee.5, KATE.RENE.5. And Skype, spells Renee properly this time, is katie.renee.thompson, KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. And for emergency purposes only, and that's not your personal self-help phone number. Hi, Kate, I've got an issue. I've got a parking ticket I want to take care of. No, because I won't answer the phone. My cell number is 226-971-9675. So there you go. No excuse to not get a hold of me. And Twitter, can I remember? Kate of Gaia, I believe, on Twitter. So there you go. Don't mind me, I'm very shy about giving out my information. Not. Which brings up another quick little subject here. I laugh my head off every time I see CIA, FBI, NSA, all the rest of it are, they're looking, emails and your privacy and shut up, man. Do you know how hard I've worked to make sure these guys know where I am? Holy shit! I had to make a judge bow to get them to notice me, for crying out loud. Yeah. And here's all these people worried about their, under surveillance. Well, mirror, mirror, aren't you looking at them? Picking them apart for their frauds and everything else? That's why I never had a problem with them looking at me, because I'm looking at them. The harder they look at me, the harder I can look at them. It's a free will choice. I don't build duality walls there. At all. So, better check Skype. Something's telling me to check Skype. I gotta check Skype. I did. Yes, indeed. There we go. We're heading over to the 11 Stuff Room. This is why you need to get on Skype. Get you in the 11 Stuff Room so you can come in and you know, spit on the potatoes and hang out in the house for a while, then leave. Yeah. It's interesting. See, that's the thing, and I keep telling people this. People still don't get this. Everything I need crosses my desk. Every bit of information, every observation I need to look at from 2, 3, 4, 5 perspectives, whatever the case may be. That's the thing about doing what I do. Everyone talks to me. Everyone. Everyone. So I get a really beautiful panorama of what's going on, which is great. Because that way, if I have the big panorama, I can actually observe it and come here and share that panorama with you. You know? It's interesting, for those of you that get Suspicious Observers emails, I do. I quite enjoy his planetary and solar overviews. And for me, they're gauges. It's like he sends me a cosmic report of what's going on in the intention realms. And there was one, I think yesterday or today, one or the other, and he was talking about Fukushima. There's radioactive water leaking into the groundwater. And my first reaction was, good. That's what my intention is, to poison their well. That's verification. Others will see fearborn. Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, keep looking at it that way, and you'll keep creating it. But what it told me allegorically was that the concept of, if you can't be on urine therapy, put the intention into the well. Poison the well with love and responsibility. Yeah, you want to use my DNA, my urine, my actual ether life force. You use it for anything other than good intent, or it'll destroy you. There's the deal. So it's not a gift anymore. It has considerations on it, and that's the thing. When we, go to the bathroom, we don't put any consideration on it. We just, no pain, no strain. Just sit there and drain, right? So start putting some considerations on it. Start putting some ethereal bindings on it. You want to change the world? There it is. As above, there's the 60 hertz grid, the wire. There you can see it. It's like the trees, right? The trees will show you. The tree's got, goes up out of the ground, and it's got all these beautiful branches collecting sunlight and feeding itself. And of course, when you get down to the bottom, you see the tree trunk. That's basically where your vision stops. But there's roots that look almost identical to the branches going up. There's branches going down into the dark, getting nutrients. So not only is it going into the light to get nutrients, it's perfectly balanced, and going into the dark to get nutrients as well. Right? That's the 60 hertz wire grid system, microwaves, smart meters, all the rest of it. The meat stick control mechanism that we can see, and we're all staring at it. And I was more interested in the control grid we can't see. That's the ethereal, and that control grid is underground. It's called the sewer system, and that's the only place. Think about it. We talked about this last night. Here's a real brief overview for those that weren't tuned in last night. The urine that comes out of you is plasma. It is refined blood. Okay? That's where the water comes off. It's excess, and nutrients and minerals gets drawn off and gets put into the bladder. It's not waste material. It's excess, good stuff that your body constantly creates, because your blood is ether. That's why there's plasma in your blood. Plasma? Look up the word. It's energy, right? So what you have there is, you've got plasma, blood imploding, plasma imploding throughout your system. That's how it moves. Your heart doesn't pump it. Your heart would explode if it tried. Right? It just regulates it. Keeps it a nice rhythm going, and the Merkaba, and keeps that energy field in a perfect place. So when that water goes, the blood goes through your kidneys to be cleansed, yeah? Okay, all the toxins are taken off, and of course that goes to the waste part. They can have that. Well, there's consideration there if you're using it for anything other than creating, food and life and all the rest of it for what it's intended to go back to Mother. You got issues now, right? I'm not. Sorry, I don't give a shit. You're right. I don't give a shit. You're paying for it now, right? Oh, good night, Lisa, hon. Ninja just popped in here, so I'm gonna do that. Got your mic open, hon. Okay, so you got your plasma that your blood going through your kidneys gets cleaned, and the excess water that's not required in it is drawn off, along with all the excess nutrients to be stored in your bladder. And typically, we shouldn't be evacuating our bladder. We should be balancing our intake and our outflow. If we do it right, we'd never have to urinate, because your body would reabsorb everything anyway naturally. But that's ether, right? That's literal ether. That's spirit. Your blood is your spirit. That's why they're after the bloodlines, spirit lines. Okay. That's why they've been the analogy or the allegory of a vampire. We look at them as parasites and vampires sucking our blood. Well, yeah. Well, they don't have to, because we're giving it to them in the form of urine, in the form of pure plasma. Cool, huh? And where does that go? Goes into the sewers, goes into the dark, and it gets drawn off and used it well. Anyway, Ninja, how you doing, hon?
Yeah, hi Kate, I'm good, thanks, darling. Yeah, how are you?
Oh, good. Fun day.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I did that thing today, what you've just been talking about, the intention for the urine that does go into their system. That they don't have permission to use it for anything other than,
Good intentions.
Yeah. And that, should they do that, then it won't be of any use to them, and it'll probably be quite harmful. Yeah.
That's why I call it poisoning the well. You want to mess with my life? It'll either be the cure or the poison. Choose.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's even the people like us who do actually do the urine therapy. We're not necessarily taking every single drop, so there is always going to be some of it that goes that way or other ways. So yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are.
Well, you can use it in the garden. You can use it everywhere. Wash your hair. Wash yourself with it. You want to heal cuts and whatever. It's got your stem cells in it. You want to get rid of cataracts. You want to improve your eyesight. You want to improve your skin. All the rest of it. It's loaded with stem cells. Where do you think the stem cells are created? They come from the ether, guys. That is your connection, right? And what happens when blood stops going to the brain? You get a stroke, right? And it shuts down part of your brain. And if it happens long enough, that's effectively a stroke is as close to death as you're going to get without dying. And you lose a bit too much blood, and that's your ether essence. It's gone. That's your life force. That's why they're after the bloodlines. That's why they want to keep the bloodlines in a certain line, tied in with the ancient pharaohs. And they're easy to spot too, by the way. They've got elongated hands. I guess one of the other traits that was being described was small eyes and a large mouth.
I'm definitely not one of them.
Yeah, well, I've got large eyes and a small mouth, but boy, it sounds like a big one.
I've got tiny little hands. No way I'm one of them.
That was one of the jokes, because I've got small hands and feet, and of course guys with small hands and feet, right? Really? So I used to say, yeah, I've got small hands, small feet, huge personality. Okay. So there you go. I make up for personality. The things you learn about Kate on the show, eh? Unbelievable. But it's because I'm shy. I am. This is stage mode for me. Anyway, yeah. So I was thinking you were gonna tell me you were trying out the I have eyes to see and ears to hear. Show me the way, universe. Now, try playing that game, guys. You'll be amazed at what you see. Don't doubt yourself either. Just watch. Watch at the first things that come popping up for you. You'll get lots of oh my me moments. Ohms. Get it? Oh my me. Just a coincidence. Yeah, so trying to think here where else I want to go. I was kind of hoping that Michael was gonna join in, so I'm just gonna see if he's available and drag his sorry ass in here. We had a great chat today. Looks like Michael's.
I think he popped off for a while. I'm not sure he's back yet.
Oh, okay. His pencil's still. No, it's showing online. Let me see. Well, I can drag him in, and if he can answer or not, it's up to him. So that's what I'm going to do, and because he's showing online. And worst case scenario, he can always what do you call it? Join the call anyway. So yeah, see if we get him here. The neat thing about when I talk with Michael, there's something neat about when I talk with you, when I talk with Michael and with MJ. There are certain things that come out from each perspective, you know, because you all bring something really cool to the table, and I get a chance to interact with that perspective. And you know, get to be a part of it. That's one of the things I found. The more that you try to become, and actually do become part of another perspective when you're talking with someone, the world just opens up for you. Because what you're doing is when I'm talking with you, Ninja, let's say, or anybody, I am putting myself in your shoes, from your perspective, to see how it is that you see things. And there's a lot of people I've done that with that I most certainly don't see from where they're coming from, but I want to see how they're seeing it. So that's about being open and being willing to experience another part of yourself. We could talk all day long about I'm you and you're me, and you know, love and light and all the rest of the, you know, the standard patter that goes on with this, you know, awakening, whatever the hell you want to call it. I hate labeling shit, but until you actually, you know, make the effort to be the other individual, to try to see it from their perspective, instead of playing the one-up game, you know. And you know the people, they're the ones that you say, oh yeah, I had a cold last week, and they come up and say, yeah, I had the flu, and then you say, well, right after the cold, I broke my leg. And says, yeah, it's funny because right after my flu, I got pneumonia and you know, fell down the side of a mountain. Whether it happens or not, it's irrelevant. It's all about, you know, ego, one up. You know, so I basically stop at the first time one wants to do a one up, I just leave them there.
You could probably take that to some very silly levels and say, well, yeah, I actually just died yesterday. Oh, well, I just died now. Yeah, I'll shut up.
Yeah. There's no winning with it. So you just
no.
You just kind of go, yeah, that's yours. Enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, hey, take the win. Woo! It saved me the bother. Seriously. You know, and so many people do it. And they don't realize they're doing it because they're running a program that they don't see. It's a drama program. It's part of the TV.
Well, what it is it's this thing about I need more drugs from the official drug pusher than you need, because look how many I've got. You know, exactly. One for every day of the week times, you know, I don't know. Yeah, not one for every day of the week, but it was seven for every day of the week. All different things. It's terrible, isn't it?
Well, it is, you know, and you got these people that have their, you know, pill containers, and it's like, and I'm not talking the jars, I'm talking the actual, take one every day, and there's like 5 in each compartment.
Yeah, I know. Those little pill containers, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the little things, and little plastic box you carry with you, and it's all full up.
And if it's not bad enough, some people have 2, 3, 4 of these things.
Oh my God!
That's their whole life purpose of, well, I've got to take this pill at such and such time, and this one at such and such a time, and I got to break this one in half, and it gives them a sense of purpose.
Well, it gives them a structure to their day.
Right. Look at how low that creative level has gotten to.
Well, it's like how to poison yourself in an orderly fashion,
Well, yeah, I'm an avid hypochondriac, and I have more pills than you, and I have to schedule my day every day, and this pill's for this, and this pill's for this, and this pill's for this, and that's what you got a heart for. It's your mind over matter. Just drink your way. You feel a whole lot better very quickly, right? You can cure yourself. You have the answers within. You don't have to believe it.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe it. It's a fact. It doesn't require your belief. Thank you, Mark Passio. That's one of my favorite all time. I don't believe what you're saying, Kate. Well, I don't care if you believe it or not. Truth doesn't require that. It just is. Whether you like it or not, whether you can swallow it or not, it's entirely up to you. What do you think's on this table? Doritos? No. It's set with all the bounty of truth that you can handle. Pig out. That's the thing. The more ego you get rid of, the hungrier you are, and the more you want to eat. That's how it is with me. The more shit I can get rid of, the more I can unpack this camel, the happier I am. Because when I get rid of the garbage, dump all that crap off, I got lots of room for the new good stuff. So there's your transitioning. Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage out, good stuff in. Good stuff in, stay. We'll keep that one there, and until you finally get your random access memory, get your RAM, and it will grow. Your RAM will grow. The more that you learn, the more that you stand in truth and understand truth and accept it instead of denying it like most people do. You will actually increase your hard drive, and 2, instead of working with 64K RAM like most people. Well, that's going back to the days of Commodore 64, eh? Woo, that's old. Anyway, wow, do you remember the old...
Careful, you're showing your age now.
I know. Do you remember when the 186 came out? It's like, whoa, it's so fast. And then the 286 and 386, 486, and then you got into your Pentiums and stuff, and it's like, holy shit. Yeah, we've watched the evolution, boys and girls. All you kids out there with iPods and the rest of it, you have no idea. I actually played Pong in a bar in Ireland. Okay?
Oh, I remember when the Pac-Man thing came out, and and there used to be one in this disco that I used to work in when I was 16, and all the guys were queuing up to play this machine and throw their money in it. Yeah, it was hilarious. Or was it the tennis one? I can't remember anyway. One of the very first ones. Yeah, is that what you call it, Pong? Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
That was the very first video game, Pong.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah. It was like, ooh, 2 paddles and a ball.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
And now you're talking full streaming, 3D, like crazy ass real life looking stuff, and I actually have. That's the thing, is I haven't seen what video games look like in a while, quite a while. But there's another analogy, right? We, in terms of the awakening, we start with Pong, and as we awaken more and more, things become more real to us. So there's another allegory. Watch the trends. I mean, it's like I said about the Fukushima thing that suspicious observers put out. I saw that only as the allegory of a confirmation of poisoning the well. Well, now it's our turn. And that's the thing, when we poison the evil well, what we're doing is we're healing that garbage that the evil well did, because all water is connected. All water, now especially your ether water, okay? As soon as one molecule of water hits another, it's connected to all water. That's how we heal this planet. So start changing your intentions. Don't take my word for it. Just do it. See what happens. Try it. You might like it.
That's it. It's too simple for some of us to grasp. I mean, everything, I think, is dressed up to be complicated because, if we realised how simple it was, the game would have been over a very long time ago.
Well, that's it, A very long time ago, someone said we were, you guys are very simple. And we've done everything in our power to complicate the shit out of it. Just, no, we're not. That's the ego.
Yeah.
Look how confused we can be. Look how complicated things are, You go back through, I had to watch, there's a video someone posted with regards to northern Australian tribes that had never been, contacted from outside, the white man, as it were. And I watched the first interactions, this French guy going in and, totally poisoning these people. As the one guy said so eloquently, yes, these people are the Stone Age. They're living in the Stone Age. They had stone tools and lived very simply and had not been tainted by man, civilized, if you want to call it that, ever. And then here's this guy coming in without asking the question whether or not he should. Walks in and then starts, showing them things, and the video starts out with them being in fear. Of course, they've never seen this before, and they got this video camera running, and these, you can see the fear in their eyes. Even the different skin color and the clothes and everything else, and I'm sitting there, and I know there'd be a lot of people looking at it, going, "Oh, isn't that neat? Look, we're bringing these, what we would deem in our quote civilized manner, bringing these backwards people into, civilization. How backwards is that?" And the guy said, these people are in the Stone Age, and they just jumped the Bronze and Iron Ages right into the Age of Steel. And I said, yeah, you just trashed them.
That's terrifying, isn't it?
Well,
I haven't seen it, but listening to you describing that's terrifying. And hello, here's another non-coincidence. You just mentioned Indigenous Australian people, and I was talking about that very thing earlier today here in the house. Huh.
Yeah, just a coincidence.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people will look at that video and go, "Oh, that's so cool," and look, they tried rice for the first time, probably GMO. And they got to see plastics and I looked at this camp the guy had, these different plastic bottles and all the rest of it, and none of this stuff's completely non-biodegradable, et cetera, and this guy's talking about bringing an ancient culture into the modern age. Why, you're going to teach them how to litter, how to create things to destroy the universe instead of living as they have for countless millennia? Stone Age, he's probably talking tens of thousands of years for this guy to walk in and go, "Hey, I'm going to do a documentary on visiting a tribe that's never been touched by the hands of man before," and just totally mess up the universe.
It might have been better had he left all his stuff somewhere several miles away, walked in there alone, presented himself for their inspection, and asked, "Can I hang out with you guys for a while and see what you can teach me?" And then when he learned whatever they had to teach, he might have decided he didn't need to go in there and screw it all up.
But that's the arrogance of the ego. The ego says, "I have something better than you, and I'm going to show you that it is, and you're going to take it." And instantly creating a master-slave program. Here he is with his little machete, and he's cutting away at a branch, and it's doing quite well, and then they brought over one of their own handmade stone axes, to chip away, and didn't do anything close to what that one did. And then he handed the stone axe to one of the females in the tribe, and she walked away with it. And then, he basically said, "Well, that means everything that we're about is completely useless." This guy walks in there with, I'm sure, good intentions of studying, but he never stopped to ask, why he should, and then of course why he shouldn't. I'll tell you right now, that is definitely something I would not do. By all means, observe if you can. But these people have lived like this for tens of thousands of years, and you just walked in there with your plastic tarpaulin camp and all the rest of the trinkets and garbage that goes along with it, including feeding them genetically modified rice.
There's something so wrong with that.
Yeah, but there's the mirror of it. The vast majority of people will look at that, and there will be some looking at it the way we're talking, but the vast majority will be going, "Oh, that's so cool! Look how much we're helping them." Really? Look how much you're hurting them. Look, you just destroyed thousands upon thousands of years of their way of living. What are you going to introduce next? Fucking religion? How about politics?
Oh, he'll be opening up a McDonald's on the corner there, and the flipping sex shop on the other corner there, and
Totally.
Bring it all on. Yeah, hey, let's have a Coca-Cola. Cheers. Jesus.
So, I mean, what was accomplished there? Taking another very pure thing and poisoning it with modern nonsense. Listen, you're living with the environment just perfectly. We don't want you messing with it anymore, so here's some plastics and shit to destroy it, okay? Okay. Yeah, that works for me. But I don't know why I went off on that, but it just that was
it's like the Victorian what do you call it? It's gone. The missionaries. Send one of them to every corner of the earth and let's just destroy everything we can find. It's doing that all over again, but haven't we learned from that? No? Okay.
Well, apparently not. So it just boggles my mind, and that for me is a trespass on the free will choice of these people to, live their lives as they were living them, and given that they were there, and constantly traveling, that's how they lived. They lived with their environment, living with their environment. Been working for thousands of years. See, there's the thing. That's a typical engineer mentality. It's working perfectly. Let's fix it. And yeah, I dealt with a lot of engineers in my day. Yeah. Let's take a wheel and modify it to work better. Yeah, okay. How's that working for you? Well, until they get the anti-grav thing happening, that's not going to work either, but there you go. No, I found it very interesting nonetheless anyway, so I'm just trying to decide where to go now. Bear with me for a sec, guys. Yeah, because I could talk about here. There was a question earlier that I got. Let me just scroll down and see it. It was regarding ego. And by the way, guys, I'm not an expert on ego, but I sure as hell know what mine is, and I know what it isn't. And for me, that's all anybody really has to see. So let me see. Where was it? What is the landscape of the tamed ego? Really, what should we be using it for? You may have covered, at least touched upon lately. Okay, what is the landscape of the tamed ego? Well, for me, that is when you can get into neutral and leave it there, and observe it. Observe the coin from the edge, from the rim, right? See the head and the tail at the same time. That's not an easy question to answer, but okay, what should we be using it for? Well, again, for me, the ego is the analytical, and it's also very emotional. And the minute you cross emotion with analytical, you've got yourself a raving lunatic. Okay? That's where, things can get heated, things can get silly and just downright dumb and all the rest of it, right? I'm not saying that, you need to be Spock here, okay? That would be a good start, actually. But you know, you got to learn to crack a smile too, right? It's got to be fun around not playing. So the landscape for me, see, I'm constantly vigilant of it, and I'm constantly asking myself when I'm answering people, am I answering this with the proper intent? Am I answering it with, or even asking? It doesn't matter, answering or asking. Is there anything attached to it? Is there, you know, anything hidden that I need to see in it? Like, you know, little shards of ego, what do they call that? Self-serving, or is it something that I'm doing or saying or being that is not only in service to myself but in service to all? You see, because here's the thing: when you're doing things in service for all, and I'm not talking from a slave position here either. I'm talking just from doing things because you can. You're helping yourself anyway. It's like I use my own children as an example. You know, it wasn't enough for me to have my children brought up in a, good home and all of that. You know where all that all turned out. Thank you, system. It wasn't just important for me to have that. It was important for me to have that for all children, because it didn't make sense to me to have two children that, you know, brought up, balanced, well-mannered, you name it, courteous, kind, compassionate, loving, etc., when somebody else doesn't give a rat's ass about how their kids are brought up, and they're, you know, typically the bully in the schoolyard that ends up being a cop and then continually manifesting that same nonsense in a bigger kindergarten called grown-up land. So it didn't make sense to me to, you know, to solve one, because eventually they would meet at some point on a grander scale, you know. And when you can get everybody looking at the same things the same way in the neutral positions, there's no need for wars. There's no need for harm. There's no need for any of that. That's all ego program. Ego is all about competition. I have to win. I have to win. I have to win. And I hate using the word, but it fits, you know. And we're all guilty of it. We've all done it. Yes, and it does sneak in on occasion. Absolutely. You just got to be aware of it. Be mindful of it. Because if you're doing something that you're not aware of, that's one thing. But I'll tell you, if you're not observing the reactions of others around you and adjusting your actions accordingly, then it becomes a willful act of in ignorance. Because deep down inside, everyone knows when they're doing something wrong, when they're doing something that is against the free will choice. And that's why I want to look at Cloud Atlas again. There's something very interesting going way and above the allegories. It is one like a super allegory, because as I'm going through it last night and the night before, I'm watching all these different allegories being portrayed in what's going on in society. When I was talking to Michael today, excuse me, he had mentioned something that Glenn Beck had said on Friday, and you know, one of the things I'll give Glenn is he's so impassioned, and I gotta be blunt about it. I don't know how he gets away saying some of the things that he says, and some of the topics he brings up, and some of the people he takes on, and some of the stuff that he exposes, because it is like large scale, blatant. But one of the things that Michael had said on Friday, and this is why I can see what we're doing at this table, is really getting into the Akashic, and it's starting to show up everywhere, and it even showed up on Glenn Beck's show on Friday. I would rather have Michael explain it because he actually saw it, but the gist of it was, you know, people, you better wake up. You know, if you're doing things that are wrong and what have you, you know, this is not the time to be doing it. Things are changing, and it was almost like this beautiful warning to everyone. And then I also brought up the idea to Michael is we got to stop with this. I hate the elites. I hate this and I hate that about the cops and all the rest of it. Yeah, I'll throw the stuff out. I'll just be very blunt about what it is they're doing and what sort of intellectual level I'm observing. Because I mean, really intelligent people and caring, compassionate people don't do what they do, right? Go out and rape and pillage and harm to collect, force people to take pieces of paper that cost them money so that they can buy more drones like them, like themselves, right? Get more tools to do even more. What happens when everybody is a drone, right? But anyway, there's people that are doing that and they're waking. I mean, the one case, I think the guy was 26 or whatever, CIA whistleblower, and he's in Hong Kong right now. And one of the things that I saw, the headlines, I think it was 20, I think it was 26 or whatever, throw his entire life away to expose this. He didn't throw his life away. But I get what they're saying. He certainly, if he was looking for a career to move up in the CIA, he certainly blew that one, didn't he? Very large whistle away, right? So, but there's another sign of those inside awakening and starting to come to terms with the choices they've made, starting to come to terms with whether or not they're doing the right thing. The same thing I would have wished that documentary guy had thought a bit more about the ramifications of what he was doing. Yeah, it's really cool to go in and appease my ego about getting this documentary because I'm the first one to see this tribe and talk to them and whatever. I see the mirror of it. I'm the first one to come in here and destroy thousands of years of cultural perfection that was quite okay just being left alone. So see, there's good and evil in everything. In a duality, we end up looking at one side or the other. That's what ego does. Ego separates things. Ego can't see both sides. Ego has to be right. Ego has to justify itself. It's a program. Turn the channel, right? Grab your remote back, will you? Put it on satellite. Instead of being focused on 1, 2, 3, 4 channels, open up to the infinite universe. Change your channel. Change your frequency. Because here's the thing: when you change your frequency, it's just like a radio set. Let's say you're listening to 101.5 FM. Does that mean that 101.6 FM isn't on the air? Or 101.7 or 101.8? Just because you're only hearing 101.5? No, all of those frequencies are there. Which one are you tuned into? Are you right down to the bottom at 8.1? Or moving towards the top at 108 point whatever? Probably 108.9. But anyway, where are you? What are you tuning into? And the ego is going to keep you tuned to the low bands, no question. And all we're trying to do is become the tick-tocks, the clocks in the room that are ticking and talking a little bit louder than the rest of the clocks in a dominant frequency manner to get others ticking and talking, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the tick-tock of the planet. And I'm going to say it again. Do not think for 1 second you cannot change the world. Of course you can. You are the world. You are the macro and the micro of the universe. Ask and you shall receive. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, and exactly the position I'm supposed to be in. Give me this perspective. It's perfect. In as much as it's imperfect. What side of the coin am I looking at? Well, no, I'm going to look at both sides. You know, you take the curses and the blessings at the same time, and you find the center point, and you see the bigger picture, and you start working towards that, not the self-serving one. And we can talk about baby steps all day long until I'm blue in the face. That's all I've been talking about. And one of the things you've probably noticed lately is that I'm just intolerant of dealing with the same TV programs all the time. I'm tired of the reruns. I want something original. I want to see you. You know? Can you imagine watching the same Gilligan's Island episode over and over and over again? Still stuck on the third episode of Coronation Street, and it's never going to change. How long would you last before you took a sledgehammer to the TV set? That's the egos that I want out of the way. It's one, they're trespassing and shitting all over my universe with drama and the rest of the crap that is so, for me, that's, sorry, not my cup of tea. You want to talk about the game, or you want to talk about this, that, and the other, and how you're pissed off at this family member, and you know, so-and-so is sleeping with so-and-so, and the rest of the crap that goes with it. Yeah, go ahead. Play your little drama games. But I'll tell you right now, it's going to take some serious work to climb out of this rut that we've been in for countless thousands of years. So if any one single ego gets offended and has to, you know, spit on the potatoes and run out of the, run out of the house, then so be it. Because a tricky little bastard is a tough little bastard, and it's been holding us down for countless eons. It's going to take a little work to get rid of it. And I assure you, the prize is worth it. It's up to you to see it or not. It's up to you. I was talking to Michael about the meat stick thing as well. Here's your choices, boys and girls. Say you have a choice about being a meat stick over and over, dying and being born and dying and being born and dying, you know, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and you know, being at total effect to this system the way it is, and you know, having pseudo fulfilling lives. Excuse me. Basically, you know, powerless in terms of creation, other than what you can do in the physical realm, and blah 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 blah. Or would you rather have, you know, that Harry Potter side of you back, that Alice in Wonderland, that Dorothy and Oz, that co-creating ability, your God essence? You want to travel the universe, you can. You want to create new ones, you can. Which one would you pick? I mean, if you want to pick the first one, I'll start carving your headstones for you now. I'll have to, you know, whatever, I'll do the one for now, and then I'll make sure there's at least another 20 or 30 sitting there waiting for you. If that's what you want to create, go ahead. If you're quite happy being the meat stick, but I'll tell you right now, if you don't want to be that anymore and you want to move back into your God essence, it's going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to take some serious grinding of the ego, and it's going to take a whole lot of shutting up. And it's going to take a whole lot of not taking stuff personal. It's going to take a whole lot of not being offended and trying to one-up the next one to you, because somehow your life is either A, better, or B, shittier. You want to play the ego games, you knock yourself out. Just don't come to my table and try to play them, because I'll chainsaw them. That's where I'm at. You're playing with your whole existence here, boys and girls. You move up from here, or you move down into, you know, have a look around. What do you think this universe is made of? This is consciousness. You know, the table stuff and all the rest, that's consciousness. Is that what you want to be? Part of the creation instead of being the creation? That's consciousness. Every bit of matter you see is consciousness. Wonder who that was. Wonder what part of consciousness fell so asleep that it became a rock. Is that what you want? Or do you think it's actually worth fighting for something a bit more? To bring all the consciousness back? That's my game. I didn't show up here for second place. And anyone that's still stuck in their ego is happy with second place. I haven't got time for you. I really don't. I'll be happy to put my coffee on you. Hey, you gotta have a table, right? So, anyway, I care that much. I care so much. You can call me anything you want. You can hate me. You can spit on me. You can say anything you want. All I'm going to say to you is, "Aw, did I hurt the widow's feelings?" The ego. And for those who have listened for any length of time, you know I'm a bitch about it. I make no bones about that. Because we've been pissing around for too long. We've been doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting somehow we're going to awaken. And the war is still happening. Well, not so much now. That game's over. You know, we're already at that point. You want to push it over the top, that's up to you. There are many of us just holding position right now, just waiting for you. We already have the high ground. We've already won. We're at critical mass, literally. It's just a coincidence that this will be the last station I will be on. I knew that as soon as I showed up. Critical mass. Oh, we made it. We're at the critical mass now. Good. It was just a coincidence, you know. That's where we're at. And every intent that you shift, and I know you've been held down for a very long time. You've been convinced that you're less than, that you're children of a lesser God. You've been told that you'll fail. You've been told that you've got wrong answers to things. They showed you in school, little X's and check marks. They trained you so well to be of the failing mindset. And then, of course, they'll sell you self-help books full of all sorts of bullshit. To make money, be successful, get deeper into the trap, you meat stick, you. Eat your fellow man, get as much skin as you can get. No, the game had to be a bit deeper. We had to go looking in different places this time. I gotta tell you, that my walk in particular has not been easy. Looking at and for the things that I have been looking at and for. And then trying to convey these concepts to people. The good news is people are getting it now. They're starting to see the as above, so below. They're starting to see the fact that they are, uber gods having a very low level human experience. That's shifted. It's evident with the planet. The magnetic north and south are moving towards each other. Faster and faster every day. The sun is getting whiter and whiter every day. The solar system has changed. There are things happening out on the planets out there that scientists just cannot explain. Like how an entire planetary bandwidth on Jupiter disappeared. How things move and tilt. It's all out of whack because we're realigning it. We're heading for home. We're heading for Cygnus. And I cannot tell you sincerely enough how critically important you are. And all you have to do is change your mind. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Just change your mind. Stop buying the lie. Stop staring at it. Stop rubbernecking the nonsense. Start creating something more worthwhile. We've had a lot of great teachers over the years. And they typically got ridiculed or crucified, allegorically. Right? No, this road will not be easy. And you know you're on the right one because you're the misfit. You're the one that never fit in with anything, anyone, anywhere. You were the black sheep and the black swan. You're the one that stood out in the crowd. You were the weirdo, freak, troublemaker, noisemaker. Walk to your own drum. You didn't care if it was in beat with everybody else or not. Typically it wasn't. And if you want proof that you're one of the most important pieces, who did they come to? Who did everyone come to when they had issues? They came to you. That's the thing about truth. When you smell it, you home in on it, and you're it. No, a lot of great teachers. A lot of great teachers. I just got tired of being told that they were liars by the very people preaching it. That was the scary part. That was the really scary part. So, what do we got here? 5 minutes. So I'll do my shout out now. Yeah, great big thank you to Paul, Giovanni, Lisa, and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Every single night. A couple hours every single night to get the message across to everyone. A place to gather. A place to change our minds and create new intentions instead of buying into the old ones. That is a gift of gifts. Thanks just ain't enough. But thanks anyway. That's how it works. I'm not sure if we're going to roll into the recording. That's going to be determined by you guys if you want to get involved or not. I've pretty much said all I need to tonight. Yeah, it's up to you. So you got 4.5 minutes to get on the board to determine how much further this goes tonight. I'm quite content. I've got across enough stuff that I thought I needed to get across today. And yeah, what else really needs to be said? I'm kind of itching to get into Cloud Atlas anyway, just to follow that thread. You know? For those that have seen the movie, I'll give you a hint at what I'm looking at. There's a very deep thing within it. There's a little birthmark. A comet, if you will. I saw a whole lot of different things with regards to what the comet represented allegorically. You look throughout different parts of our supposed history. You know, the ancient cultures that are right now, by the way. Everything is now. So there's something I'm very particular I'm going to be looking for, and I'm kind of in the mood to write anyway, so. Ninja, any comments, huh?
No, yeah, I'm feeling like you actually. I think an early night wouldn't hurt to go off and do something that you feel is important. If nobody's got anything else to add, I don't.
Yeah, it's it's kind of nice because I actually feel complete tonight. I've said what I needed to say, and there's so much more coming. I just want to make sure I get it all, put together right. And the stuff that I've been talking about for the last couple of days, I want to put into an essay form anyway, so that it's there for people to play show and tell with. So I think that's that. What do we got here? About 2.5 minutes left. We can roll into the recording a little bit, but I'll close her out with a song. What do you want to hear, Ninj?
Yeah, You're the Sun to Me. I like that one.
Okay, we'll do that one and close her out with that. Of course, you're the sun to me. You all are. And I need you guys to know how incredibly amazing and wonderful you are. And if that's the only message I ever get across when I do these things every single night, that's the only one I want to get across. That pisses off the gamers, right? Those that think they have you. So on that happy note, I will say thank you to everyone listening tonight, and again, tune in tomorrow night. Same time, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and midnight to 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So much love to you guys, and we'll pick this up tomorrow night where we left off, and I love you. It's that simple. So we'll close out with the song, and have a great night.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
When it just can't get much better, feel the sun on your face even when it's rainy weather, when nothing matters just as long as we're together. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. I can't remember ever feeling like I'm feeling. Head in the clouds all day got me flying, got me reeling. And there ain't no way my heart can't be concealing. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day, another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. Got my reasons, they won't need explaining. But why I smile all day, even though it's always raining. 'Cause you're the one thing that is constant and sustaining. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day, another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day, another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. Ever woke up when it just can't get much better?
Good night, and thank you all for listening to yours truly, Kate Gaia, here on Outside the Box on criticalmassradio.co.uk. Catch you guys tomorrow night. Much love to all. Create.
Video provided by verdictproductions.com.
Has to defend. Of course, it must attack. That goes without saying. Yeah, and as soon as it attacks and makes an ass of itself, because it always does, as soon as it gets called out, then it goes into, victim mode. Basically, it's a savior program. It's it's really easy to spot. If you get offended, that's your ego. There's very few times I will actually allow my three-headed dog to come out of its cage, and typically when I'm dealing with a program that I've just had enough of, I'll say, fine, come on out, fucking fresh meat, go. And it feeds, and it feeds well. Typically to the degree that, it'll scare people off. It's a nasty bastard, really. You should try living with it. You should try training it too. Yeah, it's not only is the TLB the tricky little bastard, it's also the tough little bastard, because one of the things that people seem to forget, put it in real terms for you, the ego only exists in the DNA of the meat stick you're in. It is only interested in gratification. It is only interested in taking care of itself. It's only interested in making sure that its survival is as much fun as it can be, because it knows its time is limited. Possibly that same ego gets recirculated through DNA, through whatever means or whatever, I don't care. But the ego, it's like our typical throwaway society. It's at the end of a body. As soon as you drop the American Tourist or Samsonite, whatever luggage you're carrying, meat sticks, and you drop that, the ego goes with it. That's when you get finally peeled clean of the program, and that's where you'll get a chance to fully see it. And those beings that have stepped to the other side know exactly what it is I'm speaking of. It's a different reality, because the ego isn't real, it's a program. Can you imagine being on the TV screen and someone has the joystick in their hand and they're putting you through, yeah, I thought you might like that. Listen, if you can't handle a meal at the table and you want to be rude about it, do the honorable thing, leave the fucking house, right? Don't forget to close that freshly installed door behind you. They'll tell you, when you leave my house, you leave. That's it. So, sorry, I don't mean to, call it out as it is, but I will. It's just fed up with dealing with people that are getting walked. I had a great chat with Michael today. Here's a little allegory analogy for you, if you want to get an idea of what the ego is. I'll give you a little picture. We talked about this and laughed quite a bit. If you can get the visual of a TV set with legs and arms, and it's got a leash, and your body's wearing the collar, you're down on all fours, and it's taking you for a walk, and on the screen of the TV it's programming everything for you. That's what the ego is. And that's, I've said it before, it's like screaming at a TV during an episode of some whatever show, as if it's gonna change. It's like people that, man, it's funny to watch, sports events and whatever, and just how emotional people get. Oh, just missed the net. Oh, tackled. Oh, it's like, think about it. Seriously, sit back and think about it. Are you not entertained? Says Gladiator. Yeah, right before I throw the fucking swords at you. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Just putting it out there for you guys. So, the program, the TV program that is running your life that you think it's you, that's a pretty good picture of you. It's just kind of stuck on one or two channels. Or some people, a few more channels. Depends how many emotions they like to run through and get their point across. I think we've had a few questions regarding spotting egos. Well, it's very easy. The ego has to justify. It constantly wants to put people on pedestals so they can knock them down. It's constantly coattailing others to, create something that particular ego just doesn't have the ability to do. And that's the other part about the ego too. The ego really inhibits your artistic and creative abilities to a degree that you cannot imagine. And again, it's only interested in survival. It's only interested in, where's the next drive-through we can hit? Where's the next movie, and all the rest of it. It's just wants to be entertained. It just wants to, 7 deadly sins land. That's where it lives. The virtues, the 7 blessed virtues, that's what you are. So there's your duality contained within. And to whatever degree we decide to change the vices to virtues is where you'll start to see where your ego is. Oh, and don't kid yourself. I know when my little 3-headed bastard comes out. I know when it comes out. Because I'm calling it. Well, you want to slay a dragon, you might want to be one. If you want to slay an ego, well, here, boy. That's it. Fresh meat. I'll let it go. Of course, when it's done devouring what it's going to devour, because only ego understands ego, it doesn't understand fucking rationale. No. That's if ego understood rationale, you wouldn't have guys walking around in uniforms. Sorry, it's amazing what you can do to a word by throwing a letter that means it's all mine into it. The letter N, by the way, is possessive. So you can take uniform and turn it into uninformed. It works, doesn't it? Fuck, I laughed when I thought of that one. Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been a good in a roundabout way. I had a few other things that I watched Cloud Atlas again last night. I will watch it again tonight because there's a particular allegory that's really deep in there. I'm not going to give it away. Because I want to pinpoint a few other things within it, and I know that when I show you this, it will be extremely mind-expanding because it's through a game, and they don't really care about you. And they put you up against all manner of garbage and what have you, and that's effectively what egos do. It's about becoming cause instead of being an effect, right? It's about taking your own helm or your own joystick back. And the minute you feel like you have to strike out at somebody, in any way whatsoever, that's just ego. How can I get offended? It's like, I watch a TV show. I love these people that watch TV shows and they get offended by them. Like, fucking turn it off, dipshit. That's ego, though. Ego needs something to bitch about. Ego needs something to destroy and whine and cry and jump up and down about. How do I know these things? Because I lived them. You can't observe something until you've actually experienced it and been aware enough to know that you were actually experiencing it. Going, see, I'm maybe it's just Jiminy in nature. I have no idea, but I found myself many years ago. As I said to Michael, there's 2 modes I was generally in: extremely happy and woohoo, let's go. And the other, when I wasn't in that mode, I was typically in anger. I know where it was seated, so it's okay. I think you guys might have an idea. If you were stuck in prison for 49 years, you might be a little fucking pissed too, but I'm not anymore. I know what it is, and it's a gift of gifts, and it's all good. It's all good. Where was I going there? Oh yeah, about experiencing it. I have been in heated debates with individuals, and the mouth is still going, and then there's me in the background. And okay, Kate, you've said your piece. Time to shut up. No, that wasn't enough. Tricky little bastard's still going here, though. It has to run the program out. It really has to lash out. And there's me still in the background. Seriously, I hear myself. All right, Kate, that's it. You said your piece. Shut up now. That's it. Enough. And then blah, 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 a little bit more. And okay. You need a bigger shovel, Kate. You're digging a nice hole there. Oh, of course. And then there goes the ego. Blah, 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 some more. And then, before you know it, I'm standing in a hole that somebody's going to fill with shit for me. So it's great. No, I've been there. I've seen myself do it. That's how I can observe it in others. It's a standard program. It's a savior program. It costs.
Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Don't worry, guys. I'm here. Just boards froze up on me. Just give me a sec so I can play the disclaimer and get rolling here.
CMR Critical Mass Radio in association with We All Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest. Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it's our turn.
And thank you very much. Alright, as soon as the board loads here, I'll be just peachy. Well, I can say whatever I want now. Anyway, disclaimer or not, I would anyway. Yeah, it's kind of the nature of the game I play. I got up this morning, tinkled, and I didn't call anybody. Didn't need to. Nature already called me, so I thought, well, time to recycle that. Oh, there we go.
CMR
sorry, I was looking for the other one, guys.
In association with We All Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest.
Okay. That's not the one.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
All right, just to keep it interesting, unpredictable. That's the thing about egos. Oh my God, talk about predictable. Anyway, if you're ever looking for an ego, just look for the reaction. That's the reflection in the mirror coming back to haunt your sorry ass ego. That's so funny. Yeah, it's amazing how people can sit at the table, and throw all sorts of garbage and food around, spit on the potatoes and the rest of it, leave the table. They won't bother to leave the house. Funny that. Anyway, leave that one where it is. All right, just scoping around here a little bit, and yeah, I had to defrag the computer again. So I was real sluggish today. I had a nightmarish day trying to keep this little juicer going, and well, she's all a lot better now. So yeah,